Hello, this is Mrs. Porter again reading This Is Not a Drill, Chapter 6. That begins on page 52. Jake. I glance up at the clock, 9:20. It clicks randomly. Not a noise you'd notice unless there's a butthead with a gun in the room to keep things quiet. Mrs. Campbell, Kenji calls out from the back of the room. Everybody turns around to look at him. I have to go to the bathroom, he says, a look of panic on his face. Sweetheart, you're going to have to wait, Mrs. Campbell says. Can you hang on for just a little while? He nods and looks back down at his book. After about 10 seconds, he yells out, I can't wait. I have to go now. Mrs. Campbell looks over at Stutz, who glares at Kenji. Then he looks at me. You take the kid to the bathroom, and don't try to pull anything cute. His eyes go squinty, and he adds, You don't want to make me mad. No, sir, we do not. I tell him no problem, I've got this. I motion for Kenji, and he's at my side in a flash. You got 2 minutes, Stutz says. 2 minutes? I don't know how long this is going to take, Kenji. I lean down to him and lower my voice. Is this a pee trip or a poop trip, buddy? I gotta pee, he whispers. Okay, that's good. I turn back to Stutz. Listen, stay cool, man. I'll get him back here as quick as I can. You don't talk to anybody in the hall. I can see you from right here. Got it. Come on, sport, I say, but Kenji's already out the door. I usher him down the hall and try to go slow so I can see if there's any way to get help. But he's doing a desperate pee-pee dance, so we pick up speed. I feel Stut's eyes on my back. Kenji reaches up to take my hand. I've learned that first graders are very affectionate, and right now, we could all use a hand to hold. There's nobody in the hall to even try to signal, and all the other classroom doors are closed. I've moved my eyes around searching for a security camera. Crap. No luck. I'm not sure there's anything I could do anyways, with Stutz staring a hole in my back. Does anyone even monitor those things during the day? As soon as I open the bathroom door, Kenji runs into a stall and slams the door. I slump against the wall and look at my face in the mirror. Sweat beads dot my forehead, and my eyes have a deer in the headlights look. I reach for the faucet and splash cold water on my face. Kenji, you okay, buddy? I ask. Yep, is the answer, accompanied by a steady stream of water on water. I notice that the stall door next to Kenji's is closed. Is somebody in there? Dead silence. Then there's a small voice. Yes. Hey, can you open the door? I need help. Crap. I sound like a perv. Now the kid'll never come out. Listen, I'm a teacher. It's okay. You can come out. The door opens slowly. Big brown eyes look up at me from a small face. Hey, pal, what's your name? Sebastian. Listen, Sebastian, I'm Jake. I'm a student tutor in Mrs. Campbell's class. And Mrs. Campbell, needs you to do something for her. It's very, very important, okay? You know Mrs. Campbell. He nods. Uh huh, I had her last year. Great. She needs you to take a message to the front office. Can you do that? Mrs. Boyd said to come right back. I know, buddy, but she'll be okay with this. I promise I'll fix it with your teacher. Sebastian gazes at me expressionless. It'll only take a minute. But listen, I'm thinking fast. After I tell you the message, you have to count to 20 before you leave here to go to the office, okay? I don't want to scare him, but I need to make him understand the danger. There's a man in the hall who might see you if you leave right away, and we don't want that. So you're going to count to 20 first. You can do that before you leave the bathroom. He nods and so I continue. Then go down to the office, and here's what you tell them. Tell them that there's a man with a gun in Mrs. Campbell's room. Big eyes go wide. Can you remember that? Is he a bad man? He asks. Well, kind of. Okay, yes, he is. And that's why we need help. Sebastian turns his back on me abruptly and heads back into the stall. Sebastian? Hey, where are you going? He tries to pull the door shut, but I'm holding it. They told us if anybody bad comes in the hall while we're in the bathroom, we're supposed to sit on the toilet with our feet up so nobody can see us. Aw, man, that's about the saddest thing I've ever heard. Kind of makes me sick thinking about a little kid in the toilet with his feet up all by himself and scared out of his mind. For the first time today, I actually feel like crying. Hey, Sebastian, listen. It'll be okay. The bad man's in the classroom, and I'll make sure he stays there. Sebastian reemerges from the stall and studies me, considering. I'm running out of time before I have to get back. You like Mrs. Campbell, right? I'm guessing everybody likes Mrs. Campbell. Sebastian nods. Do it for Mrs. Campbell, okay? I use my most persuasive voice. She needs you. The toilet flushes and Kenji comes out. He moves to the sink and turns on the water. The bad man's not going to see me. Sebastian looks over at Kenji, who's washing his hands like a madman, completely focused on foamy soap and seriously rubbing. I just see him singing that darn happy birthday song over and over in his head, like they tell you to when you wash your hands. So it's long enough to get all the germs off. It's like he's trying to wash the morning off, too. No, dude, I'm gonna talk to him so he doesn't see you leave. Dude looks back at me. You got it, little buddy? You can do this. You the man, he nods again. Listen, we have to go back now. Remember, count to 20, then go to the office and tell them we need help. It seems like a good time to beat a dead horse. This kid's got to get it right. Which teacher did I tell you? Mrs. Campbell. Good, it's up to you, little man. I don't have any other way to let them know we're in trouble. I smile and he looks at me and nods once. Okay, Kenji, let's go. Kenji says quietly, Can I go to the office too? A tear slides down his cheek. I kneel down beside Kenji and give him my full attention. Some things can't be rushed. I wish you could, Kenji, but you heard the man. I think we both have to get back. Another tear rolls and he drops his head. I put my hand on his shoulder. I'm not going to let anything happen to you, I promise. Look at me. He looks up. Everything's going to be okay. The school has all kinds of people who can help us, and they're going to come take care of this. And until they get there, you can count on me, okay? Kenji nods stone-faced. Listen, tell me who's better, Superman or Batman? Batman, he says definitively. Well then, I'm going to be Batman and you're going to be Robin. Nobody can hurt the daring duo, right? He shakes his head, lips pressed together. What? I want to be Batman. Okay, cool. You be Batman, I'll be Robin. I reach out my hand and he locks on me with a death grip as I stand up and we walk out the door. He glances down the hall at Stutz waiting for us and turns back to the water fountain. I need to clear him out of here fast so Sebastian can leave. But I can't blame him for wanting to put off the inevitable, so I give him a boost. Real quick, okay? He drinks like his head's on fire, but I stop him after a few seconds. Come on, Batman, we gotta get back to the cave. I scoop him up and carry him in a football hold so I can move quickly down the hall. He yells at first and then giggles. Still no doors open. Still no people in the hallway. Come on, Sebastian, get it right. I speed up some more. I step back into the room and set Kenji upright. Stutz watches me suspiciously from the doorway and then glances down at the bathroom. Was anybody in there? Nope, just me and Kenji, Batman and Robin. Kenji gives me a look. I mean, Robin and Batman. Stutz eyes both of us, then re-enters the room. No more bathroom trips, he said. Patrick, you be ready. When the hall's clear, we're going. Patrick nods, head tucked. Thank you, Jake, Mrs. Campbell says. No problem, I tell her, and she smiles. I feel a tug at my pant leg, and Simon's there again. How does he do that? I never see him coming. You came back, Jack, he says seriously. Before I can answer him, Stutz is yelling orders at us again. All right, everybody, stay put. I'm just going to take another look out there. He turns towards the hall just about the time Sebastian will be leaving. Mr. Stutz, I call out frantically, thinking of a way to stall him for time. What do you want? He stops and looks back at me. I have an idea. Darn, I wish I had an idea. Spit it out, kid. I don't have all day. Listen, what if we call your wife to come down here and straighten all this out? We can all have a big meeting and try to... I don't need your help, kid. I don't want her here. She's trying to take me to court to keep me from seeing my boy. I'm sure she'll listen to... I'm just babbling now, and Emery's frowning at me. She's changed the locks, he yells, on my own darn house. She won't even listen to anybody except her mother, and that woman's hated me from the first day I met her. I never thought I was good enough for her precious daughter, and she poisoned her against me. There must be someone else who can help you with... I start out, but he cuts me off. That's enough! It's none of your business. Now everybody stay where you are. Nobody moves. I hold my breath while he steps out into the hall, his hand on the gun in the pocket of his pants. What are you doing? Emery whispers. I'll explain later, I tell her. Then he's back. Sebastian must have made it out, thank God. Hey, Teach, do they have any kind of schedule, those guards, he asks. Not really. They move around during the day to different halls. There's a long silence. Mr. Stutz, I'm sure you're not the kind of man who, Mrs. Campbell starts. You don't know what kind of man I am, he yells in a sudden rage, slamming his fist against the door, making everyone jump again. You don't know anything about me. I'm not the kind of man to kill people. Is that what you were going to say? That I'm not what the U.S. Army says? They think I'm exactly that kind of man. He stepped toward her, his finger stabbing the air as he yells. They trained me to kill and sent me to Iraq to do it. They give medals for it. Do you know that? His face is red. You going to argue with the U.S. government, teacher lady? You think you know more than Uncle Sam? They'll tell you what kind of man I am. He stops, and I hear sniffles from the back of the room. I'm sure you discharged your duties as a soldier admirably. Mrs. Campbell speaks softly, looking him right in the eye. I didn't realize you're a war hero. Don't say that word to me, Stutz shouts. He steps close, towering over her, but Willa Campbell doesn't blink. I'm no hero. The heroes are the ones who didn't come home. Don't you throw that word around, because you got no idea what it means. He's breathing heavy, and it's hard to believe no one's heard him out in the hall. Emery comforts Rose, who's crying softly. Shh, it's okay, Pumpkin. I'm sorry, Stutz, Miss Campbell says. I was only trying to honor your sacrifices you've made to protect people like me. He glares at her. Then his hostile posture deflates a little. After a couple of seconds, he turns away and mumbles almost to himself. I was just doing my duty, that's all. He said duty, Mason stage whispers. I glare at him and he shuts up. All right, we ended chapter 6 on page 61.